Hello soul friends, this is Miriam and welcome back to my channel. Today's pick a card reading is all about what to do with your alone time. What to do with your alone time. So that could be anything from recently becoming single to recently just having some more time by yourself. Maybe kids have left and you're spending more time at home alone. Maybe you've experienced a loss and you have more time by yourself. It can be anything along those lines. So just anything going on with your current energy and how to spend your alone time. And so no matter your individual beliefs, remember that tarot is simply your spirit guides coming in to give you advice, or it is simply your subconscious mind helping you answer life's ponders. And either way you look at it, that is healthy and you are in the right place. So welcome again. And for your piles today, we're doing something a little bit differently. So first off, I'm going to introduce the decks to you. So first off, we have Cosmo Beings Tarot deck. This deck is available on Etsy, and information on how to purchase it will be in the description box. And here is what those cards look like on their back, since I have them all stacked up under there. And we also have Gentle Creatures Wisdom deck. Very cute. Oracle deck. This one's backs look like this. And we have Into the Lonely Woods. The backs for that. And last but not least, this just came out, Seasons of the Witch, Beltane Oracle. This is a deck that just got released because this is a timeless reading, but we are in spring season. And so I already have the first two decks, which were the Samhain and I forget what the other one was called. But anywho, this is the third one that's come out. So I feel like we'll get four at least, right? Okay, so for your piles, we have pile 1, 2, 3, and 4. The way that I'm doing this today is each one of these piles has been pre-shuffled and laid out for you, and whichever pile you pick, these cards will be read to you in your reading. But then I stop the video, shuffle all the cards together, and give you your own separate reading. So we'll see how it works out. Maybe next time, if we want pre-selected piles like this, I can shuffle them as I lay them out, but I feel like that would take a lot of time. So anywho, for this pile, if you like to pick with stones and charms, here is this nice little yellow. I think it's either jasper or jade, y'all. I can't remember. I used to know. Here is some white agate, onyx, and this is just a nice big tasty chunk of sterling silver. Okay. Putting a nice little drop formation there. All right. Pause the video if you need to look at the piles, and then I'll see you in your individual readings. Bye-bye. Hello, pile 1. So if you picked this pile, this is going to be your overall energy from our 4 decks today. So we have, again, the tarot cards, the Gentle Creatures, Seasons of the Witch, and Into the Lonely Woods. If I cough, I apologize. Again, it's a timeless reading, but we are in spring season and my allergies are just letting me know that I still have them. Okay. Let's go ahead and see what your overall energy is for these. And then I will shuffle the rest of the decks and get you cards from all of these for your overall reading. Here we go. Told ya. Okay, here first we have Honey, number 18. The sweetness of you swells in the grace of your pull. Oh, so beautifully lethal. Ooh. All right, I'll put that there for now. We also have Offer. Put these by their boxes. Then we also have Eight of Cups. And ebbs and flows. Okay, so what I'm seeing right now for you pile ones for your overall energy reading is that, you've got a choice coming up, it looks like a lot of you do. So with Eight of Cups, as you can see, there's these cups here. One of the cups is seeming to be missing, okay? And the figure in the card is generally looking off somewhere else or walking away entirely, okay? And I do call the Eight of Cups the walking away card from something, okay? But I think you're walking away because you have an offer coming up that's better. Does that make sense? So with ebbs and flows, I think that's just your energy, your guides, your subconscious saying to you that that even though it seems scary walking away from something, that it is a natural part of life, that there are points, even if something is done well. And I think that you might be walking away from something that wasn't a negative thing that you have to walk away from. It may have just run its course. Okay, so you could be in a job that you've been really successful at, but at the same time, you may have a better offer coming up. You may have learned everything you already needed to learn from this situation or job or relationship or town or city, etc. Okay, and that walking away from something, even though it went well, is still also a natural part of life. It's a natural ebb and flow of just the journey that we go through, one and all, okay? With the Honey card here, and I just got this deck. I don't know it super well, so I mean, I really haven't read the books, y'all, and I might never. You just never know with me. I might never read a book and see what the interpretations are. I might just read the cards myself. Honey, I don't know if you read Shakespeare, but there's that saying that in Romeo and Juliet that honey is loathsome in its own deliciousness. And so it's this idea of like honey is delicious, but it also can make you sick to your tummy if you eat too much, right? Or something along those lines. So what I'm seeing here is that whatever's happening, this offer is sweet. It's natural for you to walk away from what you've currently got going on to move on to something higher up, okay? And this could be talking spiritually as well, you know, general readings, etc. But whatever you're leaving everything for, you're leaving it for something super sweet, is what I'm seeing with the Honey card. But when it says so beautifully lethal, I think it's because you are walking away from something nice. Or at least something like you're definitely not running away from something. It's just something has been completed and it was something enjoyable is what I'm seeing for the overall energy for this reading. All right, so I'm going to stop the video here, put these cards up. I'm going to shuffle the rest of the cards and we will start with you in 2 seconds. Okay, hello pile one. So if you picked pile one, we're going to go ahead and shuffle all your cards and just get some more additional energy and information. So I would like to actually start with some tarot. Well, that's a little too much tarot. And if one doesn't pop out, I usually just cut the deck eventually. So like maybe after the shuffle, I'll cut the deck if I don't get any little cards to spit out. Ooh, that one kind of flipped at me. Not much popping out on the tarot for y'all. Okay, we got the Four of Cups in reverse. Let's see what this one was. Five of Swords in reverse. And we also have Six of Swords. and 10 of Wands. Okay. This makes sense. Okay, so what I'm getting overall with these 4 tarot cards, along with your previous energy that we talked about, is that with the 5 of Swords being in reverse, 5 of Swords usually like in the upright position means that you've like achieved something, but it was at too great of a cost, but not usually to yourself, usually to others. Okay. And so like you might be okay, but like at the cost of like other people's feelings, other people's pockets, other people's whatever, right? So with it being in the reverse, I'm seeing that, especially with the type of energy that we were talking about before, where like this reluctance to walk away from something that was going well. I'm seeing that, again, you've been successful in what you did, at least to the point that it's like I'm not getting like a situation feeling like you've graduated and so now it is time to move on whether you're ready or not, right? Or you're getting married, so like you're not going to be single anymore. Something is definitively coming to an end, therefore you must move on, right? In one way or another, for better or worse. In this situation, I feel like the option to stay in whatever your situation is that you're in this reading for is there, okay? But you're worried about like abandoning people, okay? And I think that's where our alone time issue is coming in, is that it's not like you're worried about being alone, it's like you're worried about them being alone. And I'm getting a vibe of like even leaving like a place that you work and feeling like the people who still have to be there without you, who are used to you being there every day, like people you get along with and they depend on you in some cases, that you don't want to leave them behind because it won't be as nice. Okay. But with the 4 of Cups in the reverse, and it's interesting that it popped up right here in the second position, when it's in the upright position, it means that there's something wonderful being offered to you and you don't see it, is what I'm picking up on with that. Okay, there's other things it can mean, but that's one of the ones that's main. And so since it's in the reverse, I think that you are aware that there's a very, very enticing offer being presented to you. Okay, but there's this like guilt of like, if you leave, it's not going to be finished. But what I'm hearing from your guides is that whatever the situation was, it's the type of situation or job, field, or position, or whatever you want to talk about, that it never will be completed. It's something that's going to shift and change forever. Okay. So next we have the 6 of Swords, which also indicates travel, leaving things behind, but it's like leaving them behind in just the nick of time, or like getting out of a situation just in time. So whatever good things were happening before, you might look back after you walk away, if you choose to walk away, which you don't have to, and think, oh, I got out just in time. Okay, if that makes any sense to anyone, that is definitely coming through. I'm also getting this sense that with their little hopeful eyes looking forward, okay, and this guide taking them, that your guides are saying in your subconscious mind, okay, if you don't believe in guides, your subconscious mind is what's steering you. It's saying that it's time, you're ready, and there is something better on the horizon, okay, and that you're not leaving anybody alone, you're not abandoning anyone. It's like it's the natural ebb and flow of things. It's time for that to happen. Okay. It's time to take care of yourself and not worry so much about other people. Okay. So I'm seeing like maybe maybe you get along really well with your coworkers. Okay. Or like maybe you're in a field where you help people, like you work with kids or you work with like patients, you know, and you're like, how do I leave those guys behind without me? Because they'd come to rely on me so much, or we had such a good time together, etc. and so forth. Or if it's a breakup situation and you're like moving on, right? And it's kind of been settled, but you know deep down the other person didn't want it to end. And so like you could stay with them and they would take you back. Does that make sense? But they're saying that it's not, what I'm getting overall is that it's not the natural ebb and flow of what needs to happen right now. Okay, so don't worry about leaving someone else alone. So it's kind of a weird alone time thing for you, pile one. I hope this makes sense. Okay, and then last of all, we have 10 of Wands. Yeah, the burden of what you've been carrying for these others, whatever burden you're carrying for anyone besides yourself right now, is about to be lifted. You either need to set it down, or you're right here at the end and it is time for you to reach your destination. Then just put those wands to good use, whatever you gathered them for. Okay, you're gonna drop them off to whoever they belong to. They're gonna be used forever for whatever you use them for. And this is something else I want that's coming through for those of you that are like leaving a job or something that is never going to be finished. It's always going to evolve. What you've done, even though you're leaving, even if you left today, okay, what you've done will be carried on by others, is what I'm also picking up on. So let's pick, I'm just going to see with the Gentle Creatures cards, I'm just going to see what pops out real quick on that one. I don't know how many cards I want. Probably not very many. I feel like the message is pretty clear. So maybe just like one. Okay. So we have harvest. Yes, see? So like it's time to like take what you did and like put it towards something else. You're not leaving anyone alone. Okay. You're not leaving the garden alone after you take the vegetables out. There's going to be more stuff planted, maybe by someone else. Okay. But this is definitely coming through that like it's time for you to accept and enjoy like the, as cliche as it says, the bounty of your whatever you've been cultivating, pile ones. Okay, let's get you one of these at least. Okay, we have earth worship. Until my body is in your arms, I will worship you, dear mother of mine. Yes. So that's basically the whole, like, until I'm dead, I'm just going to worship the earth until I'm buried in it. Okay. But what I'm also getting coming through specifically for this pile is that you only need to worry about you and the earth you're walking on. Does that make sense? You don't have to worry about, other people or that other person or that place that you're leaving behind. Okay. This is all in due course was supposed to be what was supposed to happen for you. Okay. And so it's time for you just to take care of yourself is what I'm picking up for this one. Okay. Let's stick that right there. And then let's get you more of these. And this might give you, I know pile one, you're like, what am I supposed to be doing with my alone time? Well, your alone time is you figuring out what you're moving on to next without the pressures of the other thing that you were just getting done with, okay? Is what I think I'm picking up. In the vastness of it all. Yeah, get lost in the vastness of just doing what you are ready to do right now. Okay? All right, pile one. This is what I'm picking up for you with all these other wonderful little messages. So I hope you have a wonderful day. So yeah, just remember, you're not leaving anybody in the lurch. You've done what you set out to do. You accomplished it. You were successful. So now it's time for you to reap those rewards of your bounty, okay? And don't worry about anyone else. Only take it for yourself. So with alone time, I think it means only taking these things for yourself in some cases. All right. Those are my messages for you, pile one. I hope you have a wonderful day. Like and subscribe if you want to see more. And then give me some comments if you want to see future readings of any certain sort. Have a wonderful day. We'll see ya. Hi there, pile two. So if you pick this pile, you are going to get these cards first for your overall energy. I'll just set them right out here in front of their boxes as we read through them. So here is the Seasons of the Witch. We have milk and butter. Like the silk off one's flesh, I am the giver. I am your eternal. Okay. And we also have, for the gentle creatures, we have wonder. Oops. For your tarot, we have justice. And then we have time to move on for Into the Lonely Woods. Okay. So looking at these right off the bat, pile twos, this is just your overall energy. With the Justice card, I always think about the first and foremost that whatever is the situation, whatever your situation is and why you're here, and how to spend your alone time, okay? Overall energy is this idea that you are striking balance somehow, or something is being done right, okay? So if it's, you know, if you were like, say, doing a reading on a court case that you had coming up, and this came out right side up, it would indicate that whoever was in the right, just and honorable cause will be the person who comes out on top, if that makes sense, okay? So with your alone time, I'm seeing that with this card popping up, that the time is possibly right for you to be spending some alone time. So however you found yourself in this phase of being alone, if you're single, newly, etc., this is saying that this is the right time for that, and that this is a time of wonder. And notice how this guy's kind of chilling by himself, looking off at the stars, right? And just being very solitary. He does have a couple little, looks like there's a little critter there. I think that might be a little critter there. But just taking that time for yourself, and that it's the right time. And this is the time, and maybe you know that is what I'm picking up for some of you, okay? I'm also picking up, and this isn't surprising, with a deck or a reading in general talking about what to do with your alone time. Pile one got a lot of like move on energy, okay? They were moving on to something better. This is saying it's time for you to move on as well. I'm thinking of it more as it saying you're moving along into this more solitary like station. So maybe, for example, you might be, what just popped into my head was like maybe a younger person, like a college student possibly, or even high school, or even somebody in your 30s where like you've just been very social up to this point. Maybe like on the social scene, like you were going out to clubs, or you were like, you know, hanging out every weekend and just having a good old time, being very social with your friends, maybe going out to dinner a lot with like 4 or 5, you know, extra people all the time. And now you're kind of in a situation where you're kind of pulling back. Maybe some people have moved, maybe you've moved, maybe your jobs have changed. College, a lot of times your schedules will change, and schools change, etc. So like you might just find yourself having more alone time, but the time is right, is what I'm seeing. Time to move on. Does that make sense? Okay. And then with milk and butter, again, I'm just getting more confirmation that this is the right time for you to be doing this alone time, whatever it might be. So like I'm seeing like this like self-care vibe of like, you know, taking milk baths if you're into milk, okay? Just, or like sauna, or getting a massage, but like going by yourself, not having like a spa day with your like friends, you know, but like going in and doing like a spa day by yourself. Taking a walk out in nature and soaking in some like natural like hot springs, or if it's hot when you're, you know, reading this, go soak in a nice cool, you know, like wading pool somewhere. Whatever works for you. I'm seeing this like this alone time that you're spending needs to be a time where you're like using it to every advantage, like use it to take naps is what I'm hearing. And like some of you might need to hear that, like you need to take a nap from time to time. It's okay to take a nap, okay? Is what I keep hearing. All right, so from what I'm getting across the board for your overall energy at the beginning of this reading is that this is the right time for you to be spending some alone time, pile twos. So what I'm going to do next is set these up. I'm going to stop the camera and reshuffle all the cards, and that way you'll have a reading from all of these to go along with your overall energy cards. I'll be right back, pile twos. Bye. Hello again, pile twos. So we are going to get some clarification on what this overall energy is saying about you specifically. So I'm going to start with tarot. And that way we can find out what's going on with a little pile 2 here. Okay. So first off, we have the 5 of Wands, the Chariot, 8 of Cups, the Empress, and the Emperor. Okay. So let's look and see what we have here. So with your alone time energy, we were getting this sense of it being the time for you to do this, okay? The time to move on, a time to self-care, right? And a time to do what's right and just for you, right? In whatever forms that might be, okay? So what I'm getting with the 5 of Wands here is that there is some issue with, especially it showing up underneath the Justice card like that. I'm seeing this, this sense of like maybe you might have an authoritative position at work or an authoritative position in your home where like you're the one who doles out the justice, okay? And you've been dealing with a lot of bickering among your people. And so during your alone time, I think this would be a good time to, you're going to be able to break away from that. I'm definitely getting that for some of you. Also with the Chariot, I feel like, notice how he's riding away from this, right? They're looking away from this, flying away from this, and then just chilling off by themselves. I'm seeing this sense of once you pull away from this bickering and realizing that you're not responsible for other people's feelings, you're not responsible for their lives, you're not responsible for anything bad that happens to them, you know, with the extent of like dependents that you have, like your own children or pets that you have. With the bickering in this sense, I'm getting this idea that once you turn your back on it and start letting them deal with it themselves and you spend some time alone and away from it, that you'll find more balance. I'm also seeing that with the 8 of Cups, that whole walking away. I mean, time to move on. It couldn't be more paralleled, which is interesting. Okay. And then we also have with the Empress and the Emperor together, and then the milk and butter, which is to me is like that milk and honey kind of like biblical aspect of like paradise, right? I'm seeing this like balance for you once again, this happiness, this balance, being the Lord of your own kingdom and being comfortable of just owning yourself and being alone in whatever capacity that this is for you. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm trying to scooch these up so you can see them all. Okay. And let's, not that it matters because I'm just going to cover them up with more cards. Let's see what your gentle creatures have to say, the gentle creature cards. This could be advice on how to spend that newfound alone time without these, like what to do once you move on from all this. Daybreak, I'm seeing that you are on the verge of some kind of a breakthrough, that you're going to realize like, oh, I don't need all this. I can move right along. Okay. And some of you are going to find that it might be like an epiphany you have one morning when you're stressing about something that doesn't concern you. Generally, it might just concern others who tell you all the time that you should be concerned. Okay. It could be an epiphany that you have that like shines light on the situation. Okay. But for some of you, I'm seeing this like moment where you're going to be like getting ready in the morning, stressed out about whatever it is that you've been dealing with. And you're going to realize like, you know what? This isn't even my responsibility or my problem. I am walking away, right? And then you'll have this breakthrough, okay? Let's look and see if there's anything else. Sorry. I'm like, I'll do a live shuffle on camera, and then I'm just like off here shuffling them by myself. Yeah, here's one. Guide. Yeah, see, also looking off, okay? Let your own self be your guide is what I'm hearing. Don't worry about what other people or whoever thinks you should be doing, okay? Move away from that and into your own space. And then this just popped out. Play. Oh, yeah, spend time doing what you want to do, pile 2, okay? come up with some alone time where you're sitting back and you come up with plans on how to spend things doing what you want to do. So like it could be plans with other people, but just not plans with this, okay? And you'll have like alone time to be able to ponder that so that you can come up with these plans of like what you want to do next. Let's look at some more of these and see what we get from the Seasons of the Witch. Okay. Ooh, manifestation. Sometimes they come as a breeze upon your fingertips. At other times they dwell in the depths of your soul. It is a dance between you and spirit as the magic unfolds. Yeah, between you and your higher power, your God, your subconscious, okay? Nobody else. This is just for you. That's the alone vibe that I'm getting for y'all. Okay, and last but not least, let's get you at least one more into the Lonely Woods card because they're so pretty and cute. And this will definitely have some information on how to spend your alone time or how to cope with it when you find yourself alone. The return of the lost selves. Yes, so when you're spending this time contemplating, you're going to find what you've lost. Maybe you haven't been able to spend as much time with your kids, or maybe you haven't been able to spend as much time on yourself, okay? And your guides are here to tell you that it's time for all of that. All right. So those are the messages I'm getting for you, pile twos. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Like and subscribe if you liked what you see and you want to see more. And give me ideas in comments on what you'd like to see in the future. Take care. Hi, pile threes. So if you picked this pile, we are going to get into just your overall energy with these first 4 cards. I'm going to set them up next to their corresponding containers here. And then as we read through your overall energy, I will then stop the video, reshuffle all the cards, and we will do a live shuffle of all of these different decks to get some more clarification on how you're going to spend your alone time. So first off, we have ribbons. For it lives in the silk of my binding, the knots in my truth, the eye of becoming, the wellness swallowed in stillness. Okay. We also have directions. Wheel of Fortune for your tarot. And then the ending that opens the space for the beginning. Okay. So for your overall energy, pile 3, what I am getting is that you've done something, you've created something, you've done something a lot, okay? And that you have completed something well, okay? And you might think you're done, but they're saying this is just the beginning, that all of this that you've accomplished was just to help set the directional for what you're going to do next, okay? And I'm seeing like super cool like things on the horizon. But like so far it's shrouded in like mystery of like what that next thing might be. But I'm getting that it's like exciting and it can be what you make it, okay? So for alone time spends, I think that what you might be asked to do during this alone time is to sit back and kind of regroup, maybe rest a little after accomplishing all of what you just accomplished so well. Taking stock in what you learned is what I'm hearing from your guides. What did you learn from this situation, this whole accomplishment that you did? And what direction do you want it to take you next? And I'm seeing this like blank canvas of like, it can be like pretty much whatever you want. Like some of you are in a really unique position where like maybe money might not even be an object depending on what you're here for, okay? And so you're going to be spending your alone time that you have focusing on where do you want to go next, okay? So some of you might not quite be finished with what you've been doing here, but it's close and it's been going good. And now you're going to start moving towards the next chapter. And so I'm feeling some graduation vibes, maybe some promotion vibes, very similar energy to pile 2 and 1 in a lot of ways, but a little bit different in others. So if you felt drawn to all the piles, I am not surprised. Okay, so what I'm seeing for your overall energy is that blank canvas, something great is coming up. Something definitely just got done being completed, but it was a good thing. You did a great job. This isn't something where like you could choose to stay and keep doing what you did. Like it's for better or worse, but I'm getting it was for better, that like you're just moving on to another chapter in some way. And it might be on your own. So like I'm seeing maybe graduation vibes, that you're moving away from friends you've known for a long time, you're really close with, or your family was really close with you, and whatever your everyday, day-to-day style was is about to change forever, is what I'm kind of getting from you. So I'm going to stop the camera there. I'll prop these cards up somehow so that you can keep looking at your overall energy. And then I'm going to reshuffle the decks, and with the exception of these cards here, use all the cards for your overall clarification reading. So we'll see you in just a sec. Hello, pile 3. So let's go ahead and get some clarification on your overall energy with some tarot cards. And the cards just aren't jumping out today. It might be because I have longer cards that I'm using, so I'm shuffling them long ways because my hands are tiny. But, oh, here we go. So if nothing pops out, I'll cut the deck, but then those 4 just separated right out. So we have 3 of Wands. Yes. 3 of Pentacles. Okay. The Death card. Gosh, it's so funny how they're lining up with these so well. And 10 of Swords. Okay. So what I'm picking up from your tarot, y'all, is that, yeah, it's you finished something big, like graduation, something, or like you might have experienced, some of you might have experienced a loss, or at least the very most, like you have friends or somebody that you're having to leave behind so that you can embark on this new journey, even if it's just your family, people that you're used to being around with. It could be just like your coworkers that you just like had so much fun with, okay? But what I'm hearing with these is that you've been planning something bigger for yourself since you started whatever you just finished, okay? Whatever you just finished with flying colors, graduation, you just got promoted, whatever, you're moving on, okay? You've been planning this for a while. You knew this day was coming, okay? And your guides are saying with the 3 of Pentacles that this alone time that you're going to be spending, okay, because this is ending and you're leaving some things behind and spending some more time by yourself. Maybe you're moving to a new place, or the new place you work, no one's going to know you, so you have to start all over, making friends, schools, etc. General reading, you know what I mean. The guides are saying that there's going to be new things, new opportunities, new people, and situations that arise that are going to be just as fulfilling for you, if not more, okay? That all of this stuff that you just finished was all just training ground for what is to come. And again, blank canvas a little bit. But what I am seeing is that you're not going to be like, this blank canvas doesn't include you just being alone all by yourself forever, okay? You've got guidance with you, and you've got, what am I trying to say? Like, time is on your side is what I'm hearing, okay? Maybe that means something to some of you. And that this is like, it's not a time to be sad about what you're leaving behind. That what you're leaving behind is already gone. Does that make sense? It cannot keep going the way it was, because like maybe you're sad about, like, sometimes people get sad when they graduate high school. Like, I get it, but like, you can't just stay in high school, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying that any of you are dragging your feet and not letting it happen. What they're saying is that some pain is to be expected, but you've been planning this for a long time, and that there's going to be new things that come along that take the place of what you are leaving behind, is what I'm hearing. All right, let's get you some more Season of the Witch cards. I filmed these separately so that I could, you know, have all the cards available to you in each of your readings. And then I realized, like, we really didn't get that many duplicate cards. Silly. Anyway. All right. If nothing jumps out, I'll just cut the deck and pick from there. Like 1 to 3 of these is fine. Oh, 1, 2. We got 2. Okie dokie. We have morning dew, stillness does the silence of one's steadiness bring. Yeah, okay. And then we also have the bee, don't drink all of life from one flower, for there are many to taste and explore. Yes, this is right along with what we were talking about over here. And notice with the bees, yeah, the bee card, now I realize, you know, there's bees all over this deck, but, and, you know, I picked a bee because of that reason for my little anchor here. But when you are looking at the tarot cards, the little bees showed up on this one card, okay? So what I'm seeing is that this is a sweet time for you, okay? Morning is a beginning. There's a new beginning happening for you, and you just need to be still and just like absorb what is happening. Absorb all you've accomplished, and like come to realize that there is nothing else to do but move on. There's nothing else left to do for that past situation that you've accomplished, okay? Some pain is to be expected, all right, but it's nothing that you want to dwell on, is what I'm hearing. Okay, so I'm just gonna set those right there. Now let's see what the gentle creatures cards have to say. I only need like one or two, or however many jump out at us. If I end up cutting it, I'll just take one or two. Houston, we have two. Okay, so we have Harvest, and then we also have Daybreak. Interesting. Another pile got these same cards. And all. Okay, so what I'm seeing here with these is that you've done, yeah, once again, you've done all you can do. You've got to just reap the benefits of what you've accomplished. You get to carry that accomplishment with you. It's not something that's not going to be remembered, okay? Not just by you, by others, okay? And that it's time to move on to this new day, is what I'm seeing here. I would not be surprised if a couple of you picked the same pile. And if so, it's like, did I stutter? This is what you're supposed to be doing. All right, so let's look and see. We'll just get one more of the Into the Lonely Woods. I mean, if more than one pops out, I'll take it. It don't matter. Okay. Nope, there we go. We definitely got more than one, but let's see how many. We got two. Nope, we got three. All right, so we have the Lonesome Gardener. So one thing that you could do with your new time that you have is, I've noticed that it could be metaphorical or it could be literal, that some of you are gardeners, okay? So spend time in your garden is what I'm getting, if that's the case. If it's not the case, tend to whatever little thing you've been cultivating on the side, okay? Not anything to do with this, perhaps, for some of you. Like maybe some of you now have more time to write or to garden or to do some kind of a hobby you didn't have time to before because you were busy accomplishing all this cool stuff, okay? Something's going to come along to give you directions, though. Keep that in mind. Honor your honor your holy days, okay? This also goes along with gratitude and time that you have to yourself now, is that you'll have time to honor your holy days, or you'll have more time to get into holidays maybe you haven't been able to in the past. And then your own little island, yeah. Like you're not. What am I trying to say? Cultivate your own little island that's just for you, is what I'm hearing. Make your own little space. For example, you might like to like craft and do hobby stuff. Make a space in the room that you use for other stuff that you don't use as much. Maybe cultivate that into a space for yourself, or an art studio, or whatever you've got going on, okay? Is what I hear from you, pile 3? Am I pile 3? I don't even know what's happening anymore, y'all. Okay, that is what I have for you, pile 3s. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful day. Like and subscribe if you liked what you saw, and make sure to leave comments on ways that this resonated with you and give me ideas in the future for future readings. Take care. Bye-bye. Hello, pile 4s. So if you picked this pile, we are... Sorry, I just got like attacked by cat hair. We're going to go through your overall energy first with these first 4 cards. Then I'm going to stop the camera, prop these cards up, shuffle all the rest of the cards from these decks, and give you a clarification on your overall energy of what to do with your alone time that you have. So first off, we have Seasons of the Witch, Wildcat. Be still and tune in, for there is something aloof lurking alongside of you. All right. We also have Road Trip. Self-explanatory, I think. Interesting that there's just like 2 or 3 cards in this deck that are on their sides. And then the Lovers for your tarot. And number 39, and it is Lonelier at Night. Okay. So what I'm getting first off, y'all, is that definitely with the Lovers cards, and then we have these two, obviously a couple, and this card taking this road trip. Hang on. It's like I've got something coming in. It's just like around a corner in my brain. Okay. I'm just going to spit this out, and it's going to sound weird, but maybe it makes sense to you if you pick this pile. So I'm seeing a trip between a couple. For some of you, not all of you are going to be in couples. Some of you might be newly single, but I'm seeing this trip with a couple. So maybe a platonic coupling might be even optional here. But it's something kind of new and exciting. But you're not spending like nights together yet, kind of deal. But like the thought is always like beside you, like even when you don't realize you're thinking about like this person or this stuff that's going on, it's still there with you all the time, even when you're not thinking about it. And then you feel that lack of it at night. Does that make sense to you? You'll have to tell me in the comments, because I'm like sitting here just like trying to spit it out, and it's not quite making the corner in my brain to where I'm like reading the situation like clear enough to like be like, oh, this is 2 people doing these things. It's like I see a person, the person that's watching this. Some of you, it's a couple that's new. And it's so new that when you're not with them during your alone time, you feel the lack of them even when you're not thinking about them. But then at night, when there's not as many things to think about and distract you at all, then you feel that lack of having that person there during your alone time. That's what I'm feeling. I hope that makes sense. So that's what I'm picking up, and it's very specific. So let me make sure that I'm not picking something else up before I stop the camera and start doing clarification stuff for these overall energies. Let me think. I'm also sensing an anxiety, and this is not the, I guess it could be. There's somebody here that is trying to, they're normally a solitary person. So maybe some of you that are reading this are a solitary person, and you've recently met some people, or you have something coming up where you're going to have to be around people. Okay, yes. Some social anxiety. So like even when you're alone, and so I think that for the question mark, that's kind of part of it too. I think for the couple pile, like the question mark is like, what are they doing? What are they thinking about? Are they thinking about me? You know, that kind of deal. With the question mark for this particular vibe that I'm getting is like, is it lonelier at night? I kind of like it, you know, because I'm not around people. Notice how this critter's around like nocturnal creatures that like are quiet, that are, you know, maybe not quiet. I guess not owls are quiet, but you know, it's just a more solitary time and less people-y is what I'm getting the vibe from for some of you. And so you might be going on a trip where you're going to have to be around people, and you're going to maybe, whether you love them or not, you're going to have to act pleasant, etc. And during your alone time, you feel this like anxiety lurking beside you, is the second energy that I'm getting. Ugh, I hope that makes sense. Okay, let me see if I can get anything else. And then some of you want alone time with someone else. Okay. There's a third energy in there. Okay. Or a combo of all three of the three. So there's a few of you maybe that are in a new relationship, or you want alone time with one person, especially at night. But there's some kind of a third wheel situation, like you can't be alone for some reason. It doesn't necessarily have to be a person. It could be like you can't be, you work together, so you have to keep up appearances during the day, and then at night you can be together. Okay, so that's the other energy I'm picking up. Okay, that's a lot of energy to pick up. So let's just go ahead and go with that. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the camera, and then I'll do a live shuffle of all the rest of the decks with these cards propped up so that we can remember our energy. Okay, I'll be with you in just a moment. Okay, hello pile 4. So let's go ahead and get some tarot for some clarification on that energy we just read. And if nothing pops out, I usually just cut the deck and start drawing from there, but I'm looking for about 4 or 5 cards for pile 4. Here's some. See if we can get a couple more, or just one more is fine. Oh, there it is. Oi. Okay. Okie dokie. So we have right off the bat the 4 of Cups. And then we also have the 5 of Cups. We have the King of Swords. And the Queen of Cups. Okay, so for those of you, I remember there's like 3 different energies for this. For those of you who are embarking into this new relationship, and then when you're not with that person, you have that lack. That's definitely what I'm seeing with this. So it's this idea that like when you're spending your alone time, okay, so remember this is the first group that's like in this new relationship. When you're alone, all you're doing is pining for that person. Even when you're not thinking about them, you're still not spending your time to its full advantage. And you need to start communicating with yourself and being like okay with being alone with your own emotions and your own thoughts when that person is not around. You need to, or when that thing is not there, whatever it is that you've fallen in love with that you love so much and you can't stand not having it around you, at night in particular when you think about it more. You need to find some new things to focus on. So like meditating at night for like your own self-care, taking little bubble baths, finding some new hobby that like you know that nobody else, you might not even want anybody else to know you're into that sort of thing. You make that time for that. Like if you're like somebody who likes to dance when nobody's looking, you know, it's kind of something that came into my mind, or singing when no one can hear you. Excuse me. So that's what I'm getting with the tarot on that particular energy. For those of you who have that social anxiety coming in, what your guides are saying is that you need to stop focusing on what could go wrong, what might happen, and focus on what can go right. Give yourself permission to think that, you know, like she's looking into that cup, like she's happy about what's in it. You know, maybe she doesn't know what's in it kind of deal, okay? That she can choose to believe that something is going to be good in there, okay? Because with anxiety, remember, if you worry about something before it happens and then the bad thing does happen, you've just suffered twice. So that all being said, that anxiety always lurking beside you, Maybe also do some meditations, those of you that are in this pile, on how to, reduce anxiety, or how to focus on the now, focus on, the present, and not so much like it's what hasn't come yet or what has already happened that you can't fix. Okay. And that future jumping into like what you have to do socially that's giving you anxiety, especially at night, to retrain your brain to think of it in other ways. Okay. And then lastly, there was a third energy. Let me think of what it was. Oh yeah. It was some of you want alone time with someone else, and there's like some kind of a third wheel situation where you can't be with each other. Okay. What I'm seeing here with these two is like almost like this king and queen, that when they're not with each other, they can find ways to still cultivate that love between them. They're just going to need to get creative. That's what I'm hearing for some of you. I'm also hearing that instead of worrying about the time lost with your alone time together, focus on making that time still special when you can't be alone, is what I'm also hearing. Okay. I'm also hearing with the King of Swords card that you need to communicate to someone if there's like a third wheel situation, like I'm picking up like a strong, like maybe like somebody that like is in a new couple, but you still live with your like parents kind of deal. Or like you have an elderly parent that still lives with you and you've lived with them and they weren't cramping your style until this new thing came up, and now you're like, dang it, you're always there, that kind of deal. Focus on ways to communicate to them that you need that alone time. Okay. Because if you just sit and stew about it, then you can't really get mad at people for not giving you your space if you don't communicate that to them. Okay, that's what I'm picking up for the people that want alone time with someone else. But also get creative about how to spend that alone time as well. Okay. And then, yeah, with the people that are anxious, just start figuring out new hobbies and ways to take your mind off of future or past events and just focus on what we're doing right now. Coloring is a really good way to go. And then the first energy with the new relationship popping up and that you feel lonely without them, to start focusing on things that you can do by yourself, that you can enjoy, right? So like if you're into like water sports, you can do water by yourself, that kind of thing. Okay, let's go ahead and get some more cards. I don't know why I picked those ones up. Let's do these ones first. I just need like 1 to 3 of these for pile 4. This one feels good. The honey card. Yes, okay, so for those of you that are in a relationship that's new and you're sad without them, okay, I should just be like energy 1 people, energy 2 people, energy 3 people. It's like pick a card in one pile. Remember that the time that you spend apart, it just makes that time better when you're with them, and that can be something special. Like you don't want too much of a good thing, right? Pile 4s, but the people that are in a new relationship, okay? And then the people who what was it? See, there's way too much energy in this one pile. For the socially anxious people that are worried about something you have to go do with people, keep in mind that everything has a balance, okay? And so you might be thinking like, well, it's good that I refrain from going out all the time, or it's good that I do this. That can also become a vice itself, is what I'm hearing for you, and that some of you might need to kind of push yourselves a little bit, see things in a different way, meditate to help yourself get over some of those anxious thoughts to try to get out and about. And then with the folk who are wanting alone time with someone else and you can't, again, remember that it's good to spend that time alone. It makes it better when you do get to be together. And there are ways that like you can like flirt with one another if you're like around people, or if you're in a work situation where you can't be together, you can like do something special for the other person that would not cause anyone else to pick up on it, etc. Okay. There are ways around like feeling that like need for something. And also remember, again, as I said, for the other people that were in some kind of a relationship that was new, yeah, too much of a good thing can always still be too much. Okay. Okay, so let's set that right there. And let's get you another one of these little cards here. Oh, well, there we go. We got 2. Excellent. I'll go ahead and take 3. All right. So we have Wonder, Wings, and Harbinger. Yeah, I'm seeing that with all of you, with your alone time, you need to be taking time for yourself. The socially anxious people, notice how this person or this little character is still solitary, but they've got their little friend there, okay? But they're at a distance. There's still ways that you can be social without having to be right on top of someone. So like if it's the drive that's bothering you, maybe you could do a Zoom meeting instead. If it's the crowded house that bothers you, maybe get a space like a hotel room so you have someplace you can escape. With Wings, I think that's showing that you guys are ready to take this next venture. Whichever one of the pile energies that you're in, you're ready to start being more social. If you're socially anxious, it's time for that to happen, okay? If you aren't with your significant other and you feel that lack being there, then like, what else are you lacking besides that person? A lot of times there's some basic need that you're not meeting, okay? And then for people that want to be alone with someone else, there are times that are going to free up for that to happen for you, okay? But you're going to need to communicate to get that to happen, okay? And then I'm also seeing with the Harbinger that all of the energies, no matter which one of those energies you're picking up on, because I know I've got like 3 different types of energies in one pile here, that you're going to be getting like some clues very soon about how to go about getting that balance, okay? And let's get just one more from the Into the Lonely Woods. Hopefully it'll be all encompassing and I won't have to do 3 different interpretations in one, but it's not looking like that might happen. But that's okay. Hopefully you're just patient with me. Okay, I've got 2. All right. We have In the Vastness of It All. Aw. And The Learning of Rights. Okay, so I'm getting for some of you specifically during that alone time that you're spending, that some of you need to start looking at like ritualistic stuff, prayer, meditations, anything that makes being alone time more valuable for self-care. Okay, I'm getting that for, I think, all of it. And then In the Vastness of It All, yes, always remember, every single one of you need to remember that you need to take a step back and just breathe and be still and just be. Is also what I've got coming through for you, pile 4s. All right, so those are your messages, pile 4s. I hope that that was helpful and fun for you. Like and subscribe if you would like to see more of my videos. Also, leave me comments on how this resonated with you and give me some ideas for future readings if you wish. All right, I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care.